Hello, Create Draft Shine. So today we're going to be learning how to draft a basic gown block, that is a seamless gown block without waist joining.
These are the tools I'll be working with: my tape, my straight ruler, my pattern master, and this. So next thing that I'm going to do now is to determine the size of pattern paper I'll work with. So to get the size of pattern paper I'll work with, I'll use my largest measurement, which is my hip circumference divided by 2 plus 2, to get the width of the block. So the hip I'll be working with is hip 40. Hip 40, so 40 divided by 2 is 20, plus 2 is going to give me 22. I'll mark it out like so, and I'll take my straight ruler to just connect it out like this. So next thing that I will do is to further divide the block into 2 equal halves, that is 11, because hip that I will work with is 40 divided by 2 plus 2. And I'll roll it out like this. Why did I share it? To get my center back and my center front. So let's proceed to drafting. So the next thing that I will do is I'll start marking out my vertical measurement, that is my shoulder to nipple point, my shoulder to under bust, my shoulder to front waist length, because the pattern I'm working with, the front waist length is longer than the back, so front waist. Then I'll draw out all the lines like so, and label. So this is my shoulder to nipple point, my under bust, my front waist length. Then I'll take my tape and I'll mark out my hip line. So I'm working with the hip line of 8. I'll also roll it out, and my gown length. So the gown length I'm working with is 32. So one thing to take note of always when drafting your pattern, always label. So this is my hip line, this is my gown length. So whatever thing I've done for the front, I'll also do it for the back. So for the back, I'll mark out my back waist length. My back waist length is 14. From that point where I marked the waist length, which is my half length, I'll mark out my hip line. So the hip line I'm working with is 8. I'll also mark it. Then I'll also connect. Then the next thing, I'll proceed to mark my gown length. You said the gown length is 32, right? But take note, the difference, you have to now mark out the difference between your front waist and back waist. So the difference between my front and back waist length is 2. So I'll reduce the back gown length by 2. So you're not making use of this place. So this is the gown length. This is your hip line for the back. This is your back waist length. So next thing that we're going to do now is to mark out our neck width and our neck depth. So the neck width we're working with is 3 inches wide and 3 inches deep. We always alter it to how wide or how deep we want. So we just have to mark the basic out first. So this is it. The next thing we proceed is to mark our shoulders measurement divided by 2. So the shoulder I'm working with is 14, divided by 2 is 7. Now you know your shoulder is not straight, so you have to mark out your shoulder slope. So for the front, the shoulder slope is 1.5. Then you connect to your neck width like so. So everything we've done for the front, we'll proceed and do same for the back. Our neck width that I work with is 3. For the back neck depth, I'm going to make use of 1. You can always alter to how wide or how deep you want it to be when you want to make your dress. Then also we'll mark out our shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 14 divided by 2, 7. Then our shoulder slope for the back is 1. And mark it out and connect. So next thing that we'll have to do now is we'll have to get our chest line. So to get your chest line, the bust circumference that you're working with, divided by 6 plus 1.5. So to get your chest line, bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5, I'll mark mine down here, and I'll connect down with my straight ruler. So just to get the straight line, I'll measure from the top of the paper to where I got the chest line for the back, which is 8. And I'll also mark the same thing here, because if I just said extend the line to the back, the lines might not be straight. So this is it. So this is our chest line. So next thing that we'll do is to get our armhole curve. So to get your armhole curve, first for the front, or your chest line for the front, go up by 3 inches and come inside towards the center front by 0.5. Take your straight ruler and draw a straight line connecting to that 0.5 inch mark. On the chest line, we want to start putting our circumference. On the chest line, mark out your bust circumference divided by 4. The bust circumference I'm working with is 34. Divided by 4 is 8.5. I'll mark it. And I'll take my armhole curve and connect. Touch that 0.5 inch mark and to touch your bust circumference. This is it. Perfect. Do the same thing for the back. On the center back, place your tape there. Mark your bust circumference divided by 4. Now, for the front, we went up by 3 inches from the chest line to get the armhole. For this, we're going to divide the chest line into 2 equal halves, which is getting the middle. Go inside towards the center back by 0.5, like so. Take your straight ruler first, take note, and draw it out like this. Take your armhole curve or your curve ruler and connect from that 0.5 to your bust measurement. So this is your armhole curve. So next thing I'll proceed to do first, we'll come to the front. On our waistline, we'll mark our waist circumference divided by 4. Waist that we're working with is 26, divided by 4 is 6.5. plus 1.5 for that intake. Now your that intake varies, do what works for you. I'll come over to my hip line, I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4, which is 40 divided by 4 is 10. I'll take my ruler and I'll start connecting the lines together like this. Like this. I'll come over to my gown length, I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4, and I'll also connect to my hip line. Now take note, this is a straight gown, that's why I use the hip line on the gown length. If you are making a pencil gown, what you have to do, there's several ways to get your pencil, to shaping the hem of your garment when you're making a pencil gown or a shaped gown. You can bring your waist circumference and just mark it here and connect to your hip line. But for me, I'll just take out about 2 inches from my hip circumference, I'll mark out 2, and I'll connect back to the hip line. You can do as far as 2, you can do 1.5, you can do 1, depending on how shaped you want this down part to be. So this is straight, this is my pencil gown. So now I'll go back to the back. So for the center back, I'll do my back tightening or zipper tightening. I like using 1, you can use 0.5 for yours. Take your straight ruler and connect up, like so. Take it, connect to your hip line, like so. This is to eliminate that zipper bulge at the back. That's for the zipper tightening. So we come over here, we mark our waist circumference divided by 4, which is for me 6.5. I'll add my 1.5 for that intake. I'll come over to the hip line, I'll mark the hip circumference divided by 4, which is 40 divided by 4 is 10. Come over to the gown length, I'll mark the hip circumference first, divided by 4, because I want to explain something here. And I'll connect the lines together like this. So now, like I said for the front, if you want it pencil, if you want it straight, it all depends on you. So this is the side front, this is the side back. For the front, we're shaping the hem of the gown with 2 inches. So what I'll do is, I'll share that 2 inch into 2 equal halves, which is marking 1 on the side back and marking 1 on the center back, and connect to the hip line. Now, if you want more shape at the back, at the center back, like you want your bum to show very, very well, instead of you to share it into 2 equal halves, you share it into 2 unequal halves. That is giving more to the center back. Meaning I'll mark 1.5 here, and I'll come here and just mark like 0.5, which is half. But it depends. I just thought to explain that to you. So guys, this is our seamless gown block without the darts, but we have to mark our darts. So first thing first, from my bust point line, I'll come down by 1. Then I'll start marking my bust point. So the bust point I'm working with is 3.5. I'll mark it 3.5, which is 7 divided by 2. 3.5. Then from the hip line for the front, I'll go up by 1.5 before I draw my dart leg, because I don't want the dart to go all the way to the hip line. Then what was the dart intake we added, which is 1.5. So I'll mark 0.75 on both sides, and I'll connect like so. And I'll connect like this, Stop at that point where you came up by 1.5, like this. Now another thing that we need to do for the front, what is the difference between your back and front waist length is 2. So it means that from my bust to mark my side dart and my bust dart, I'll come down by the difference. For me it's 2, and I'll connect to my bust span, which is my nipple to nipple line. So this is it for the front. This is our dart, your dart, like this. And also you can decide to tighten your neckline, which is coming down by 0.5. You can do 0.2, it's optional. That is something. So go back to the back, also mark your dart. So for the back, this time from the hip line, I'll just go up by 1 inch. Then for the chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch also. Then I'll mark the bust span, which is 3.5. Now take note, we took out 1 inch from here. So instead of it being 3.5, it will be 4.5, because I want the lines to be straight. Why marking like that? I'm making use of here. So your intake is 0.75 on both sides. You can do 0.5 on both sides. It's up to you for what you use as your own intake. But for me, I use 0.75 as my dart intake. So I'll connect the lines. So now, this is my seamless gown block, and I just thought to share. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye.